Hey everybody, this is Aaron Shell here, bringing you some more Dragon's Maze spoilers set review. So starting with Black now, and our first one is Bane Alley Blackguard. It's a 1/3 for 2 vanilla, and this is a card that I'm actually pretty interested in because this is the first time that Black has really gotten a card like this. Normally, Black gets like a 3/1 or something like that. So it's just a very interesting card to think about. I'm definitely going to try playing it. I can see where it would be very good in an Orzhov deck, just holding them off while you extort them to death. So that could be a possibility for this card. Next card is Blood Shrivener. Please tell me if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's no Dark Confidant to be sure. What it does is if you withdraw a card when you have no cards, you instead draw 2 cards and lose 1 life. So basically, it's like a Phyrexian Arena if you have no cards in your hand. And it's okay. I mean, like, it helps when you dump your hand on the board, so I could see it being in some aggro strategies. But this is no Dark Confidant. It might see play just because drawing cards is so strong, but I'll be very surprised if it's actually really good. So I'm a little bit hesitant, but it's probably okay. Crypt Incursion. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard, and you gain 3 life for each creature for each card exiled this way. So this is kind of Reanimator hate, but the thing is, we already have such good hate spells in like Rest in Peace and like Grafdigger's Cage and all those that uh, Reanimator's Reanimator's probably not going to be affected by this card. Kind of think of it like a bad Gnaw to the Bone, if you remember back from Innistrad block. And it's bad because you don't really have a way to dump stuff into the graveyard. I mean, I could see this in maybe Dimir because you like mill them out a little bit, gain a ton of life, and try to stay to get clinch out the game that way. But it's not going to be that good. Fatal Fumes, it's a removal spell. Removal is removal. It's always good. However, it is a little expensive for a really bad stats. Definitely play it, but it's not going to be anything special. Next is Hired Torturer. I actually like this guy. He's very defensive. He's a 2/3 for 3, so he can stop the ground beats. And his ability is actually kind of relevant. So if you're in a board stall, you have a way to win the game with him. So I can see how he's good. I'll probably play him in a defensive Orzhov deck, or maybe even a Dimir deck. Yep, nothing else to say about this. Maze Abomination. I actually like this card. It's one of the cycle, so it's 6 for a 4/5 Death Touch that gives other creatures Death Touch. Death Touch is a very strong ability, so I can definitely see where this is one of my favorite of the cycle, just because you can get value from the creature, and you turn your multicolored bad creatures into Death Touch ones, so you can trade them in for value potentially. So I like that card a lot out of the cycle. I mean, it's nothing exciting, but I would probably play it if I had one and I was in black. Pontiff of Blight. This is extort to the tons. Uh, it gives all the creatures extort. It has a huge butt, 7 toughness, so definitely defensive. But it doesn't really like it. Kind of fits Orzhov because all your defenders that you have now all have extort. You can hopefully extort them out. Rakdos Drake, 2/3 flyer can't block for 3 because unless you are dying, you're never gonna play it without it being unleashed. Nothing else. It's good. Play it if you're in black. Sinister Possession. Enchanted creature. When an enchanted creature attacks or blocks, control this 2 life. Traditionally, these types of effects are very bad because it just gives your opponent options, and it's not a hard removal spell. The creature's still there; they still get value from it. So I wouldn't play it, but maybe you guys can figure out a way to break it. I'm just gonna say that I don't think it's worth playing. The next is the gatekeepers here. This is the black one, and a lot of people have been saying that this is the best one, but I would like to disagree. It is very good. Removal is very strong, but what really gets me here is the -2, -2. So a lot of things, if you notice, have a lot more than 2 toughness. Like, let's just look at this page. That Rakdos Drake, you should be putting a +1/+1 counter on it. You know, it only hits Blood Shriner out of the cards we've looked at so far, and maybe some flyers. And we haven't even looked at the multicolor yet. So I just feel that it's a very limited, useful card. Like, you're probably only going to hit their 2 or 3 drop. So it's basically like a 2/4 with Smother attached to it, which is not bad, but I just don't think it's as great as everybody's saying it is. If you disagree, definitely tell me. I'd love to hear your explanation, what you guys think. So all for the guilds. This is stupid and unplayable. Don't do it. Clear a path. Destroy target creature with defender. I mean, it's kind of a removal spell if they have defenders. I could see siding this in against like an Orzhov. See here, you can see the 2 Basilica guards from Gatecrash. If they have a ton of defenders, side it in. Maybe even don't side it in. It's just so limited, but it is removal of a kind. Maze Rusher. This guy's okay. He's probably my third favorite of this cycle. He gives multicolored creatures haste and has haste himself. He hits for a lot. I like this card because it's really good on an open board. So with red, you should be like trading removal spells. And then if in a board stall, this guy's good because he's gonna just drop and take out an opposing creature. Although he does trade with like their 3 or 4 drop because of the 3 toughness, it's usually good enough to get there though. Think of it like uh, what's the thing from Return to Ravnica? That's a 6-drop 5/4 haste. That thing. It's kind of like that. Possibility Storm. This card is silly. I mean, it sounds kind of cool. I mean, I don't know how to break it yet, but it's cool. It hates a lot of strategies that rely on casting their spells, so I can see how that could get played. Punish the enemy. It's removal. It's a little on the high end, so be careful, but definitely take it. Pyre Wild Shaman. This is a good card. Like, if you can Blood Rush your guy and then get it back, it's just a repeatable dude with a repeatable pump spell. It's really good. I would almost always take this card, probably second to third pick. It's not bomby enough that I want to take it right off the bat first pick if there's some good uncommons, but it's definitely good. Riot Piker, this guy just doesn't do enough in my mind. Like I said with the other one, First Strike's not that relevant here because it just has 2 power. And 2 really, like, look at all the big toughness in this set. It's going to be slow. This guy just doesn't do enough. I wouldn't play him. Rubble Belt Maka, it's a 3/3 for 4, a hill giant with Blood Rush for giant growth in red. So it's going to be good. I would think of it. I would take it pretty highly. I mean, the format's slower, and this is a very strong Blood Rush. So definitely, it's good. Take it. Probably put it in every single Gruul deck you draft. I don't know about Boros. I mean, Boros curve should top out at like 3 or 4 probably, but you know, I can see how it should be good. Smelt Ward Gatekeepers. Now this is the Gatekeeper of the cycle that is the hardest to evaluate because its effect is so swinging. I can tell you that there's many times when I have died with an act of treason in hand or a threat in hand, if you will, that just did me nothing that game. And then there's tons of games where you just win because you play it and you take their blocker and kill them. So this effect is the most swinging out of them, but its power level is definitely enough that I would play it. What I don't actually like about this card is that it makes it so it's a target creature an opponent controls. I wish that you could drop this and give it self haste or give something else you control haste just to give it more utility because you don't want to drop this on an open board, but you don't want to waste mana. So I could see this being like your turn 4 play and you have 2 gates and they don't have a creature and you're like, well, I guess I'll just play this guy so I use my mana. But other than that, he's good. Weapon Surge, Kindled Fury with Overload. I would say this is a very good trick for red. Most likely Boros, because you swing with a ton of guys and you trigger battalion, and so they're gonna block probably the guys they could trade with to try to turn off your battalion, and then you can just get them with this, and it's gonna be a beating. Okay, Battering Crassus. It's a 2/1 trample evolve. I mean, it's tough because it costs 3, so I could see how it could be really good, but I don't think it's gonna be as good as Shamble Shark. Trample is nice, but Shamble Shark just has so much utility with Flash. So think of it like a slightly worse Shamble Shark. Crowl Warrior, it's a Grizzly Bear with an upside, so you're always going to put it in your deck if you need 2-drops. And I do like that it has some late game utility, and you can like force your opponents to play around it. So, it's okay, whatever. It's a forgettable 2/2. Maze Behemoth, trample, multicolored creatures have trample, 5/4. This is probably my second favorite. I like that it has a big body. It can definitely swing and go over the top of a lot of players. It's reasonably good. Mending Touch. It's a combat trick. Can save your bomb, but it's a really bad one because you're not necessarily going to get value by killing their creature. So, play it if you have to, but I wouldn't play it. Mutant's Prey. I like this card a lot. I'm a Simic player myself, so this looks really cool. It's instant speed Prey Upon if you have +1/+1 counters. So Prey Upon is very strong. Fight mechanic is very good. So if you're in Simic, this is probably close to first class removal. Fido Burst. It's like a better Titanic Growth. Well, not a better, a worse Titanic Growth because it's at sorcery speed. So it's almost like deal 5 damage to target opponent, or target opponent sacrifices a creature kind of thing. Or if they have removal, it's terrible. I would see playing 1 maybe as just trying to finish them off, but I wouldn't be that ecstatic to play it. Renegade Crassus. Now this guy I actually think is going to be good because his ability is so swingy, and the evolve triggers, you can stack it so your evolve triggers happen first. So this guy will trigger evolve last, and then when he evolves, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature. So you just evolve faster. So I could see you dropping 1 creature. So you play like an evolved creature turn 2. You play this guy turn 3. You play another guy, and all of a sudden you have like 3 5/5s on the board. It's like insane. So I think he's good. So really, Gatekeepers. This is my least favorite of the Gatekeepers. Gaining life is just not an effect that's that good. I mean, it is a relevant amount of life. 7 life is a lot. That's probably like 1 or 2 turns of life gain, but nothing too exciting. So here's Skylasher. I actually really like this guy. He's a flash, can't be countered, reach and protection from blue. Grizzly Bear. He's gonna be good. Like, I'm not sure how much play he's going to see because he's just not. He can't win by himself. He's very good against like Lingering Souls. Lingering Souls he's good against. Anything with flyers he's good against. I'm just not sure he has the most utility, so he may not see as much play. But he's a cool card. I love that he's like spiking some bird in the air. Thrashing Moss Dog. It's 3/3 for 4 with reach. So this is actually a pretty important guy because he gives green a lot of more ways to deal with flyers. And then Scavenge is just an upside. And 3 counters for 6 mana is actually pretty relevant. So this guy's pretty good. I would definitely play him if you're in green and you don't have too many 4-drops. Well, that's the rest of WUBRG, at least the monocolored, that is. So I will be bringing you most of the multicolored next episode. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys agree or disagree, leave me a comment, like, share, whatever. Just tell me what you guys think too. Anyway, this is Aaron Show with Dragon's Maze Review, and I will see you guys later.